All right, guys. Well, I'm heading over to the Handyman headquarters right now to get some more stuff ready for the Founders and Fathers Technical College. And I thought I'd take advantage of the drive time and go ahead and do a quick video about red flags. These are the types of clients that you should either walk away from or at least consider walking away from if you get a few too many of these red flags all on the same client. So I'm going to start off with the most important one, and that's actually going to be clients who won't pay a deposit. Now, there's a bunch of caveats to this, of course. If you're trying to get them to pay a $50 deposit on a $100 job, I can kind of understand why they don't want to do that. But if it's an expensive job that a normal tradesperson would charge a deposit for, then a client who doesn't want to pay a deposit, to me, is a red flag, because they're already sort of hedging on not paying you. They're already kind of entering this relationship with some kind of idea in mind that they need to be careful about paying you. So right off the bat, you're just starting off on the wrong foot. If I have a client that doesn't want to pay a deposit, I just don't work for them, and that's really a hard limit for me. And don't get me wrong, I don't actually ask for deposits almost ever. It's got to be a really huge job for me to ask for one. But if I do ask for one and they don't want to pay it, I just won't work with them. And along the same vein, another type of client that's going to be a red flag is going to be a client that doesn't want to sign a contract. And again, I understand if they don't want to sign a 20-page contract for a $100 job, well, that just kind of makes sense to me. But if they don't want to sign a reasonable contract for a very complex job that's going to require a significant investment on your part, then already right at the beginning of this relationship, they're kind of hedging their bets against paying you. So you're just starting out on the wrong foot. And in the same vein, I would just absolutely walk away from any client who doesn't want to sign a reasonable contract for a large, complex job. Now, a really big red flag is going to be absentee payment methods, and I'm going to couple that with clients who don't want to meet you in person or have anybody else meet you in person. Oftentimes, they're going to reach out to you via text message or email. They're not even going to call you on the phone. And they're going to have a bunch of written instructions about a property they want you to go give a bid on. They're going to want to pay you with like a cashier's check. There's going to be a lot of weird stuff. And furthermore, if number one is if they're absentee, number two is if they want to pay you with weird payment methods. These usually go together, but I'm going to throw one other thing into this mix and just say if it feels weird, right? You're going to get used to communicating with clients in a particular way, and every now and then you're going to get a client that just feels really odd. It doesn't feel like the normal course of events that most of your clients would take with you. So if they're sending you emails saying, hey, I'm out of state, I've got a rental property in the city that you're in, and I need somebody to go by and do this, and I'm going to pay you with a cashier's check, but then I'm going to need you to take 300 of that cashier's check and send it to some other address. Whatever the weird deal is, ignore them if they're weird. Trust your gut, and maybe that's really the point of this one, is just trust your gut. If it feels weird, it is weird. There's enough business to go around. You don't have to do business with people who have to do business in a weird way. Now, another one I don't like is when they reach out and immediately tell me during the quoting process that they're getting 3 estimates and you're just one of 3, because what they're really trying to say there is that they're wanting you to compete on price, which means that they are price focused and not value focused. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with getting 3 estimates, and depending on how the subject comes up in the conversation, there may not be anything wrong with them telling you that they're getting 3 estimates. But when they just kind of out of the blue clearly try to work into the conversation, they're trying to make sure that you know that you're competing against 2 other guys on this estimate. To me, once again, they're price shopping, or at least they're price conscious more than they are value conscious. And again, if you're busy enough, right, if you have enough work coming in, you just don't need to waste your time on these types of clients, because they're the types of clients that are going to try to nickel and dime you on the price. They're going to try to nickel and dime you on what's included in that price, and they're probably going to call you back for touch-ups, and they're just going to be pickier overall. If you're busy, you just don't have time for that in your workday. And the next red flag on the list is going to be clients that demand line item breakdowns. And don't get me wrong, I do line item breakdowns like for my property managers. I go ahead and price them separately. For example, if I'm changing out door stops, they get a line item for door stops. If I'm changing out smoke detectors, they get a line item for smoke detectors. But if you're going to do a little remodel on somebody's bathroom and you've already told them you're charging $600 labor to replace the vanity, you're charging $150 labor to replace the mirror above the vanity, you're charging $100 to replace the light fixture, and they want you to break that down even further, and they just really want you to sort of justify for them every single minute of your time and all of your pricing. Once again, more power to them. If they want to do that, they can. But that is, again, somebody who's very price focused. They're trying to figure out where you're screwing them over at. They're starting their relationship off with a general lack of trust and a general assumption that you're not going to be doing the right thing. So they're trying to hedge their bets against you. And that's just not a healthy way to start off the relationship. And if you're busy, go with the other clients who don't behave that way. Also along the same vein is going to be clients who demand receipts for all the materials, or demand that they buy the materials, or even worse, they want to accompany you to Home Depot to buy the materials with you. This is, once again, the same type of client. They're hedging their bets. They're kind of starting off with an adversarial attitude rather than a team attitude for the work that you're doing for them, and they're just probably not going to be fun clients to have. Now, one type of client that I will tell you right now I refuse to do work with is going to be a client who demands an hourly rate, or who demands some amount of explanation for what I'm charging that it's clear that they're trying to figure out what the hourly rate is themselves. If they're worried about me making too much money, I don't want to work for anybody whose number one goal is to make sure I don't make too much money. So that's one that I will absolutely, that's a red line in the sand that I will just simply walk away from. Now, here's one I've told you all a bunch of times, and this red flag will never go away, and that's the people who always let you know that if you give them a good enough deal, they've got a bunch more work for you in the future, or they're going to recommend you out to their friends and family. Because you know what? If you do a good job at the right price, then you are valuable, and they should want you back in the future. And if you don't, then they shouldn't. And the idea that they can convince you to do better work or give them a better price in exchange for more work in the future, that's just dangling it over your head. And I just don't like the general attitude that comes along with that, because again, the implication is that they don't trust you right off the bat. It's adversarial, as if they need to corner you into giving them a good price or doing good work. And of course, this next one just kind of goes right along with what I've already said, but if they try to set your rates, anytime a client is trying to tell you what you need to be charging, once again, they're not respecting you as a business, and they're setting up an adversarial relationship right off the bat. Another easy red flag is just simply that they don't really know what their budget is, and they don't really know when they want the work started. Any client who doesn't have any clue what their budget is or when they want you to start the work or to finish the work, they're just window shopping, because anybody who seriously wants some work done around their house, they have some kind of idea what their budget is, and they know that they want it done probably right away. But if it's not right away, that's going to be for a specific reason, like it's a job they want you to get done when they go out of town next month or something. So ask them what their budget is, ask them what their time frame is. If they don't have good answers, it's because they're window shopping. And any client who tries to tell you how easy the work is, all you got to do is this, all you got to do is that. If they're starting off the conversation trying to tell you how easy the work is, they're trying to hedge their bets against the price, and they're trying to get a cheap price. And I don't know about you, but I don't want price-focused clients. I want value-focused clients. Value is the price compared to what you do for that price. Price is just price. They just want a cheap price. And I don't need cheap clients. Now, I shouldn't even have to mention this one, but any client that wants you to do illegal work, or that wants you to purposefully hack their house, if they want you to do work that is clearly not the right way, or work that is clearly not legal for you to do, man, just walk away from those clients right away. I shouldn't even have to tell you that. That should be your default mode of operation, is to walk away from clients who want you to do illegal work or who want you to hack a job. Now, another one that you got to be careful of, because it's not always a super bad red flag, but it's clients that want to help you do the job. Now, I will admit, there are some clients who want to help you do the job just simply because they're curious and they like to learn new things. But if it feels like they're wanting to help you do the job simply because they want to save money, that's not the kind of client you want there. Now, here's a little tricky one that you may not have ever thought of, but clients who always are saying bad things about all their previous contractors, tradesmen, and handymen. If everything that comes out of their mouth about guys that worked for them in the past is negative, then guess what? It's going to be negative against you too. These are just people who can't get along. And then finally, guys, I'm just going to mention this one last time. Just do a gut check. If your gut feels weird about a job, just don't do that job. Whether it feels weird about the job, about the person, about the timing, about the location, whatever it is, if it feels weird, just don't take that job. You don't have time for that. There's plenty of work out there, and you can use the time that you would have spent doing that job to go find other clients who don't have so many red flags. So I tell you what, I'm here at the Handyman headquarters now, so I love you guys. I hope you're out there killing it, and I will see y'all on the next one.